The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy.
Greetings and salutations, listeners. I, Eric J. Chucky, joined, as always, by... Are you mocking me?
Is that literally the first time you've noticed that?
Yes. Harsh.
I'm not mocking you. You just say the exact same thing every time, so it's gotten into my head so
like
far.
Sing Along with the Rock?
Yeah, it's Sing Along with the Rock
right.
over here, just quietly to myself. That's literally... I've done it for like 100 episodes, and you've never noticed.
I don't look at you. You're over there.
That's amazing.
That's the boy.
Hey!
This is the Two Nerds Podcast. Today we're talking about what the fuck ever because I had to work this weekend and didn't have time to watch all of Luke Cage.
I did, but we're going to do a podcast on Luke Cage, so I'm withholding my opinion for now.
Yeah, expect that next week.
Instead, this week, we're going to be talking about basically what we've been up to the last little while. Now, normally, that would be kind of a hodgepodge of television and movies and a whole bunch of other stuff, but...
We've been gaming.
Yeah, we've been gaming, and speaking of things that sound like that, Gay-Bin has staged a raid upon society's wallets. It is the Steam Summer Sale, so this motherfucker has bought a whole lot of video games. I bought like 2.
Bought some.
I bought like 2. I don't buy many video games.
No, you don't.
I buy like a couple and then play them for like 100 hours and then move on to the next one.
So, yes, video games were boughtened. Do you want to go first, boy?
Yeah, mine's much shorter. Well, there's one that's not on this list that I've suddenly remembered. Not recently so much for one of them, but very recently, I tried Neverwinter again, a free-to-play D&D MMO based on 4th edition. Mm-hmm. It's still pretty fun. It didn't keep my attention, we'll put it like that. And then, like a week or two ago, I tried the D&D Dungeons & Dragons MMO, also free-to-play. I think it's based on, like, 3rd edition, maybe? Or
I don't remember.
5th? One of the two. It's not 4th, I can tell just by looking. But it was okay. Again, not bad.
It's like set in Eberron or something, right?
I didn't get far enough in. I resolved to play it until I couldn't play it alone anymore. Once that happened, I stopped. But in terms of games I bought with money, because they were on sale, and because them being on sale reminded me they exist, I bought Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2. I'm currently just past the first planet on Knights of the Old Republic. I bought it like right before Luke Cage, so I got past the first planet, and then Luke Cage came out, so that's what I was doing instead. That's what I've been doing the last couple days, mostly. They're still fun. They kind of run like garbage, to be honest.
I looked over at your monitor earlier today while you were playing, before I had to go to work, and watching KOTOR run in 60 is weird.
One, it's smooth. It's more that, like, the game is so...
It's so fucking smooth, but everything looks so old. So, like, you don't expect that kind of smoothness from an old, like, from a PlayStation era kind of game.
Right. Well, it's because the game is... Well, right now, the problems are basically from the fact the game is so old that a bunch of the shit it runs on doesn't really make sense to computers anymore.
Right.
So, like, to get it to start, you have to turn a couple settings off in the options to get the game to start. Otherwise, it hard crashes when you try and start a new game every time. And then, once you're in that game, you have to turn those settings back on, or your character will freeze after every combat and won't walk.
Jeez.
Like, it's shit like that. It's tiny shit. I've got some mods designed to, like, fix some of the errors and shore up some of those problems and improve the skyboxes, minor stuff like that. But mostly I've been playing the base game. I'm playing the most popular, like, Restoral mod that adds a bunch of cut content back in. Once I'm done with that, there's a fan-made expansion pack I might do.
Oh,
cool. And then I'll move on to KOTOR 2, because it has a Restoral pack, I'm sure, and that'll be much more substantive.
Yeah.
But half that game is missing. So, I mean, I didn't end up paying that much. I ended up paying like $8 for it, for both, which is fine. It's honestly, I bought them because, oh yeah, those games exist. I've been meaning to play role-playing games recently. That's why I tried Neverwinter. That's why I tried the D&D MMO. These are role-playing games I know are good. They're old, but they're still good. And there's a part of me that enjoys the very workman-like wrench work required to get an old game to run.
Yeah, I've noticed you seem to take joy in that. It's kind of like the opposite of trying to work around some error or bug or virus that has fucked your computer. It's a peaceful wrench work.
Yeah, one of my biggest pet peeves is pieces of technology deciding to fail on me for no discernible reason. I don't react well to it. I can handle it, but it makes me very upset. Whereas this is I've taken this job on. This is voluntary. So the fact that I'm having to fight to get the grass to load I currently have it off because I'm on Dantooine, and if it doesn't load right, about half of everything is invisible because the grass is still there. It's just not loaded, but the panel that makes it not see-through is loaded. So it's just these weird jagged invisibility squares everywhere.
Spectacular.
I've got it off right now. I'm trying to figure out a fix to get the grass to load because I want to see what the game looks like with that. But currently, that's the fight I'm having. That's my fight. Grass. That's pretty much the extent.
Fucking Ultima over here.
That's the extent of what I did. I've been playing other video games recently. I may have mentioned some at the end of the last podcast, but we'll only cover that if we need to fill time. What did you buy for the summer sale?
I would like to note for everybody that combined those games are $20, $10 individually. You paid $4 for them individually, so a total of $8.
Yeah.
With tax. But I do know a couple of our listeners actually really enjoy this podcast to hear what kind of deals there are going on if they don't have the time to browse through Steam. And we're here for you, Ultimo. So
fair enough.
I finally bit the bullet and bought the old adventure game I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Yes, that one's popular across the whole goddamned internet.
Yeah, well, I mean, the short story is fantastic. It's been on my wish list for a long time because it's slightly different from the story.
And it was $1.50 was
it was
the mark where you couldn't say no anymore.
It's been on sale a lot, actually, for about that price. But I was like, nah, I don't really need it right now. But I have money, because of employment and stuff. And I'm still getting commissions on top of that. So, but it's usually $6. I got it for $1.50. That was awesome. I got a game called Vanguard Princess, which is a fighting game. I don't know if you guys noticed, they do this weird fighting game show on this same channel called Violent Profiles. Maybe that'll show up on there. Who knows? It's usually $4.99. It was $1.50. I got Downfall, which this was some fucking savings. It's a horror adventure game about a guy and his wife trying to reconcile their marriage, and then shit gets bad.
I'm sorry, I might be buying Downfall. Are you fucking with me with this price point?
No, dude. We are not paid by Gabe Newell. It's usually $20. It was $2.74.
Yeah, I think I'm buying a game when we're done with this podcast. I don't even care if I ever play it. That's like a stereotypical woman at a shoe store. I can't say no to that deal. I'm sorry. Video games is my business.
To that extent, although I haven't bought them, Use Your Words is on a pretty decent sale right now, Brendan Floss's game. He's always been pretty cool to me. And I like most of his work. So, check that out if you haven't already. I kind of want to get it on console, so I think it stopped me from buying it right now. I think I'd play more with friends on console than I would on my PC. Check out Hypnospace Outlaw. It's not out yet. It will be soon. It's actually a somewhat similar one of games on my list here, but like way cooler and 90s. That's by the same guy who made Dropsy, and y'all know how I feel about Dropsy. So, I also grabbed Metronomicon, which was $20 down to $5. It's a rhythm fantasy battle game.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, that's pretty wicked. This is The Police, which is a strategy adventure game about a shitty city where you are the police. You got to make political choices and like...
Oh, this is... All right. I didn't figure this would ever come up on the podcast, but this kind of sounds like Small Town Cop.
I think we've talked about Small Town Cop before, because there was another game called Beat Cop that I believe I own, where you were literally working the beat and trying to... Like, you've got a block, and you're trying to uncover drugs and stuff, and you're, this is your last chance kind of thing. And but yeah, no, Small Town Cop is a game I'd love to make. Just imagine Grand Theft Auto, but you are a cop in a small town, and you can be a good cop or you can be a bad cop, and there's all these kind of story elements. And
some of my favorite things have always been deciding whether or not you're going to let someone off for speeding, and you found a bunch of frat guys who are having a party. Oh, none of them are of legal drinking age. You could bust them, or you could just confiscate their beer, or you could just confiscate their beer and then take that beer home.
One of the small elements from my childhood that I was going to include in Small Town Cop. I could make it an RPG Maker. 110%, I own RPG Maker. I could do it, but I really want it to be in 3D. I want there to be driving mechanics, the kind of HUD they have. But one of the mechanics I wanted to include was if you see kids skateboarding or just generally having a good time where you've decided they shouldn't, one of the context-sensitive buttons will say hassle.
Oh.
Yeah, it's much darker. It's more noir. This is the police, but
yeah, Small Town Cop is meant to be ultimately a fun experience.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's an experience about the human condition. Some human conditions are fun, some not so much. Typo Man, I also grabbed. This is the police. Was $14.99 originally. It was $4.94 when I bought it. Typo Man's a cool platformer where words provide context and obstacles and solutions within the world. I thought it was a really cool concept. I don't know how it's going to play out, but yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of neat. It was $12.99. I grabbed it for $4.41. Super Skelemania. I don't remember how I saw that, but it looked pretty badass. It's usually $10. Got it for $3. It's an action platformer where you're a skeleton. By the way, if you guys watch the occasional What the Hell's on Steam we do when we have nothing else to talk about, last time I talked about some game with snow. And I actually ended up buying it when it went on sale.
He's currently
Snowfall. Yeah, Snowfall's on Steam. So yeah, there. See, we looked for a thing, we found a thing, and I bought the thing. It's the magic of the Steam. I got Halcyon 6, which is an RPG strategy game about being in a space. That's usually $15. It's a little less than $5. Orwell is the game that's kind of like Hypnospace Outlaw. It's sort of a story adventure game where you play Big Brother.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that. That's neat.
Yeah. It's usually $10. I grabbed it for $4. Cluckle's Adventure is an action platform adventure game where you are a chicken who is also a knight. In stark contrast to the previous game. It was usually $3. I grabbed it for $1.50. It's been on my list for a while.
The game after this genuinely sounds like a Kevin Smith movie.
The Moose Man is actually based on folklore and mythology. It's a very atmospheric adventure game. Also been on my list forever. Usually $7. I grabbed it for $2.79. And Dream Daddy, I finally broke down and bought. It's usually $14.99. I grabbed it for $7.49. It's a dad dating sim where you date dads. The Game Grumps were involved in putting it out, but it's mostly their adjacent people. Like the actual persons did voices for it, if you can call them that. All told, if I had bought this any other day, I would have spent $138.88.
Instead, he spent $43.75.
Plus tax, of course.
Plus tax. Just a quick side note. Dream Daddy fan base, please no bully. Leave, please. I don't want no trouble. I just needed to get that out there, because they will come for us.
Fucking comment. Like, subscribe, hello.
So, the other things we wanted to talk about were stuff that's either on our wish list or various other things.
Yeah, that's one of the things about the sale, and it's not over yet, so there's going to be more stuff added to this, but one of the
I will break down and buy more video games before this is over.
Well, one of the aspects of the Steam Summer Sale and the Winter Sale, which are my favorite sales, is they have a cool card thing, where every day, if you clear out 3 queues worth of cards, or 3 queues worth of games, you can get 3 cards, and then you can sell the cards for roughly 4 cents. It is about an hour of work, quote unquote, that I would be doing anyway. It's about an hour of browsing video game possibilities.
That implies that you're actually looking at those video games?
Sometimes I am.
If you just click through, it's like 5 minutes.
Sure, yeah. I mean, and you get about 15 cents
Yeah. So it's not a good pay rate, but it is a pay rate that I can only use to buy video games, which is a great way to incentivize myself to buy video games.
Yeah, well, and when I go through these, I usually add a bunch of shit to my game queue, and that's part of the whole, sale mentality, so I figured we'd talk about it a little bit. I've been talking for a while. Why don't you talk about the stuff you've added to your queue recently?
All right. Well, one's a thing I actually just bought. I don't think I bought it when the Steam sale. I think I just bought it.
A little bit beforehand, yeah.
But it's an old puzzle game called iZombie. You've probably heard of it if you're into this sort of thing, or if you watched other podcasts when it came out. It's a pretty decent puzzle game. It's nothing special. It's just you play a zombie. You gather up other zombies. You fight dudes with guns. It was an excellent way to pass an evening, but I think I'm kind of done with it, at least for now. There's some newer games, like one really new game that I added to my wish list because it's far too new to be on sale right now, and it didn't look good enough for me to buy it when it wasn't on sale, is Vampire.
This was actually in my my GameFly queue for a while, but it kept getting pushed back.
It just looks like an interesting, neat game, and good vampire games are not terribly common. So I was interested to see what it was going to look like.
That and Kingdom Come Deliverance are both on your list, and those are both games that I have medium intention to try to find on Xbox as well, because right now my rig can't run shit like that.
Kingdom Come Deliverance just looks real cool.
I've
heard
cool
nothing but amazing things about it.
It seems like a weird combination of Dark Souls and Skyrim.
Yeah.
With a little bit of like Minecraft sort of shit thrown in there. Well, that's not the right word. Like Dwarf Fortress maybe.
Yeah. In that everything's covered in mud and you're a piece of shit.
So it's 2018.
Some other things that showed up. One, White turned me on to his Project Aura. That's AURA.
I don't know why you thought it was the other thing.
I don't know either, but I did. But I added it because it looks ridiculous. It looks like a game that someone made for me, but only for like this one very specific subset of my interests. It looks like a combination between like SimCity and the old capitalism games from way back in the day, combined with like a libertarian cyberpunk post-apocalypse, which if you were to just like take the, roguelike, Souls-like, action retro Steam melange of just buzzwords that get smashed together to try and get clicks, libertarian cyberpunk post-apocalypse might be the one that gets my clicks. So
I thought it looked kind of cool, but I knew I wouldn't have the patience to play it. But like, I'm watching the video and I'm going, oh yeah, the boy wants to play the shit out of this game.
The boy does want to play the shit out of this game. Then there's Pillars of Eternity.
Yeah, it's been on my list for a long time too. Again, I just can't run it. Looks really good. I know they released a sequel that looks really good. I just haven't gotten to it.
There's other games that I've been meaning to play. Anarchy Online is a fucking old-ass MMORPG that showed up in my Steam queue, so I added it to my Wish list, even though it's free to play, because I just don't feel like playing it right now. But
I do that a lot.
I want to remember that it exists.
Yeah.
But
so when you go into your wish list, I usually put them up top so that I don't forget they're there,
Yep. Some other stuff ended up on my wish list, but I couldn't remember it all and didn't feel like looking it up. You got a big-ass list there. Tell the nice people.
God, that's like a portion of my wish list, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
I'm down to like 95, I think.
I have like 8.
I live a dangerous life, my friend. Well, I've actually been playing Game Dev Tycoon lately. Actually playing it. I bought it not on sale a few days ago. I was watching Pro Jared play it, and I was like, this looks fun. The first time I saw it, I was like, Tycoon, meh. Which, I mean, as a byproduct of me playing and then beating this game and getting the achievements and all that shit, Steam goes, so you like Tycoon games, eh?
Well, sir, have you come to the right place? This is Steam, and on Steam we have Tycoon games for days. Tycoon games to the left, Tycoon games to the right. Everywhere you look, there's 5 more Tycoon games. You want to hunt animals? You want to raise animals? You want to raise dinosaurs or roller coasters? Tycoon games, everyone! Tycoon games!
This is actually kind of funny you mentioned it. There was some game that was like Zoo Tycoon or something. That wasn't the title. It was shitty. It was a knockoff. But for whatever reason, the music they chose, like the stock music they chose for their their video package was like this butt rock. So it's like down and down and down and down, and this fucking little zoo, this happy zoo.
If I made a knockoff Dinosaur Tycoon, I would 100% use the Kazoo Jurassic Park theme.
Good choice. But I like Game Dev Tycoon. I lost the first time I played it, and I actually downloaded a mod to allow a lot of things earlier, because it frustrated me that despite how the actual game industry goes, you couldn't make sequels until like the mid-90s if you were good.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
No. So, I mean, there's a bunch of other things that you still couldn't do with the mod I had, but it basically opened up all genres and allowed certain things like sequels, multi-platform games, and things like that available from the start. Maybe that makes it easier, maybe that makes it harder, I don't know. I was mostly just playing to have fun, but like, I was keeping about even...
Oh, that's actually something that bears mentioning. I am past the point in my life where I give a shit if someone thinks that I'm good at video games. So when I download games, especially older games, like old RPGs I'm playing for fun, I will often cheat flagrantly. Like, oh yeah, I don't have enough, I need to get this thing. For instance, in Knights of the Republic, there's 2 side quests you need to do to get 2 uniforms. Sith uniforms to go down to the bottom level and you know, get everything taken care of, right? I fucking despise one of them, so I just added one to my inventory in a save editor because I didn't want to do that side quest. And, I mean, spoilers for Knights of the Republic, Terrace was burning to the ground anyway, so I didn't care. But yeah, I'm here to have a good time. I already beat KOTOR a bunch. I don't need to beat it again. It's okay. Like, legit, as it were.
I don't like taking shortcuts if it's my first time playing a game.
No, me neither. Not if it's the first... No, like, if it's a fresh game, you want to play it clean. You want to get the experience.
Like with Dark Souls, I tried to stay away from guides. I had a friend who was helping me through it who would give me hints. Like, and he's fucking... you're out there, you're listening, you love our podcast. He's great about that. I think it's hands down the reason I enjoyed the experience as much as I did is because instead of me in a walkthrough beating Dark Souls, it was me and a friend going, oh, have you gone to this zone yet? And I was like, no, it's dumb because I've been there. It's stupid as a fighty guy. Oh, well, it's a neat zone. Maybe you should check it out. And like 10 minutes later, I'm like, wonder what's in that zone. I'm going to go look.
Whereas you kind of serve that role for me in Dark Souls the various times I've played it. I'm more willing to look at guides for Dark Souls because I almost feel like looking at guides is part of the Dark Souls experience.
Sort of. I mean, like when the game first came out, it was very community driven. It was a bunch of people.
It was, hey guys, did you know this?
Yeah.
But then it's, hey guys, did you know that I can't go back in time and join the hunt.
And the problem with the wikis and stuff is you can be like, oh, okay, so to beat this hard boss, I just have to use this, and this is the ending of the game. Neat. Now I know that.
Yeah, that's a problem. Also, the other problem with the wikis is that all the Souls wikis are the worst formatted, least helpful wikis of all time. So I sort of feel like I got the spirit of someone who's only willing to give me hints.
But yeah, Game Dev Tycoon was fun. I made an empire on... we started with an adventure game. Well, me, actually, just in my garage, started with an adventure game back in the late 70s called Madcap. Well, the series was called Madcap. It was about a clown. It was adventure comedy. And as we went on, it became an RPG adventure game that was comedy, but for mature audiences. Because in the 90s, we went to the mature audiences, and that went over gangbusters, so...
Yeah, you caught the edgelord wave.
I caught the edgelord wave. It was awesome.
Another side note for KOTOR, in case anyone does decide that deal sounds good and you want to buy it, when you're leaving Terrace, there is a way, you look it up online, it's real easy. You'll want to skip the section where you're in the Ebon Hawk shooting at things, like ships and stuff, because it just doesn't work.
Oh, fun.
Like, it just doesn't work right. You can't aim with the mouse. You can't aim well with WASD. It's very slow and unresponsive. You'll want to skip it. And it's easy to do. It doesn't require any mods or anything. You just open it up. When you get on the Ebon Hawk and it loads the cutscene where you're going to go get in the ship, click. It lets you return to Ebon Hawk, which will skip you right to Dantooine. Do that because the thing just literally doesn't work.
So if you're going to get KOTOR, get a guide to playing KOTOR. Maybe not actually the game.
Well, I don't have one. This is me doing Dark Souls. This is me
I see.
figuring out the fixes where the game is trying to fuck me over, so I have to try and get around it. That occurred to me because I plan on going to download a mod to disable the rest of those, but that mod can't disable that first one.
Oh, interesting.
Because it acts as the tutorial.
Right.
But I'm going to go download a mod next time I play it to disable the rest of those sequences because I'm sure, they're great. They make the game harder. It makes travel dangerous, all that. But they literally just don't work, and I can't fix that. So...
But on to games I've added to my wish list. We have Stone Shard Prologue. I just go to my wish list here because some of these I were like, yeah, that looks good, add. And then later I go through when it's on sale and I'm like, what the hell is this and why do I want it? Oh yeah, this is like a 2D adventure, like Legend of Zelda style adventure game. How do you differentiate those? From a 2D adventure game to like an adventure puzzle game, like King's Quest and shit?
I think you would use the word puzzle because Zelda isn't really a puzzle game. Like it's
Most-
an adventure game, and then there's an adventure puzzle game.
Right. Most of the time when I use the word adventure game, I mean the adventure puzzle, the Sierra style. This is like, exploring a dungeon and you fight and stuff. It looked really cool. It's free to play. Check it out. Or the prologue is free to play. Probably more later. Perfect Date is a dating sim where you date cats.
There's a dating. Look, there's one for tanks. Everything else is downhill.
I like the art and I like cats. So, Car Mechanic Sim 2018 looks... I also grabbed House Flipper. I mean, I didn't buy it, but it's in my wish list because it's a little too expensive for what it is. In my estimation, anyway. But this, really great graphics, all things considered. And it looks pretty realistic.
Oh yes, this is the game where a goofy simulator game, like Hand Simulator, he looks at it and goes, I could learn how to fix cars, completely unironically.
Well, no, it's not like Surgeon Simulator. It's like, it looks like legit. It's a simulation about running a car mechanic shop.
I don't think that is the facts of
Well,
the
it
case.
might not be, and that's why if I buy it on sale, I can just go, oh, no, this is stupid, but fun.
Just the facts.
Yeah, well, and it looks cool. Like, above and beyond, fucking, this is my...
during your way to a mechanic's job.
Yeah, no, above and beyond the mild interest of maybe I'll pick up something, this looks interesting. I like how machines work. I took my Game Boy apart once when I was a kid. I used to take things apart all the time, so just to see how it worked, and I put it back together, and it mostly worked. I like how stuff like that works. I passed a side story. I passed a little display we have at work yesterday that shows you how to do electrical wiring. It's just this standing set up with the fucking pieces display, and I was like, oh, I could stare at that for hours, but I didn't because I want to keep my job. Also on my list is SimCity 4.
But why? You already have City Skylines, don't you?
No, I got it through Xbox's
Game Pass?
Game Pass, yes. It was $1 this month, and I wanted to check out City Skylines on the computer, so I started fucking around with it on Game Pass, and I don't like it. I don't hate it, I just don't like it. But SimCity 4 is old, it's 2D, so I'll check it out. It's on sale right now, I just don't know if I want it right now. Added Marie's Room to my wish list. It's a walking simulator in a room, actually. It's just uncovering what happened.
It's a walking a very short distance simulator.
It's a story. It's uncovering what happened in a situation.
I wanted to make a movie, but it's very important to me that you have to press W while watching it.
I appreciate your sass. I'm not trying to downplay your sass. But I like games like that. Not necessarily just the walking simulator, because I also played Shelter recently. Well, Shelter 1, if you're looking at it on Steam, because Shelter is a different game. Where you're a little badger, and you try to get your baby badgers across the woods.
Right.
First of all, that was too stressful to be worth what was going on there. It's like, hard pass on that.
You ain't ready to be a dad?
Well, I ain't ready for my children to be swallowed by the uncaring river while I'm just trying to walk, motherfucker.
That's a trend in gaming recently that I don't know if I dislike, but I know I'm certainly not I'm not super up for is we've made a video game. Oh, cool. What's it about? Sadness.
Well, and like
Tragedy.
If it was like, if there was a reward to it, like the gameplay loop, if there was a strong, yeah, I did it, then, it might be worth continuing to play. But reaching a new zone was just like, oh, this is pretty. Oh, God, I have to keep going.
It's one of the reasons I was never super interested. That wasn't words. It's one of the reasons I was never super interested in The Last of Us. Because, like, as a franchise. Because it's just, we made a video game. What's it about? Sadness!
At least you get to kill fucking not zombies in that. And other walking simulators, like, I don't really care for that. But I know there are people who would say Firewatch was a walking simulator, and I really dug the hell out of that game. It portrayed an interesting story and let you move around in it. It is, I feel, the evolution of a choose-your-own-adventure.
Yeah, I think Choose Your Own Adventure
Because
only works if you get to choose your own adventure.
Well, and I mean, okay, so let's talk about a Choose Your Own Adventure book for a second, in case you guys are too old or don't know how to read like me. It would say at the bottom of the page, after certain periods, you'd have a decision point.
Right.
Do you slap the king, or do you say, hello, Mr. King? And you would say, turn to page blah if you slap him, and you turn to page blah if you don't. And a lot of times, if you slap the king cuts your fucking head off and the book's over. But some other times, that would be a branch in the story. And sometimes you could go on wildly different adventures, read wildly different stories depending on your choices. And I haven't had one yet that's wildly different. But Always Sometimes Monsters has a lot of branches.
Well, there's actually a problem with doing that in video games. There's a really heavy, internal, I would almost say psychological motivation to not do that when you're making a video game. Because unlike a book where, the wildly different adventures can be 1, maybe 2 pages, in a video game, if you make a branching path story that has a bunch of wildly, absurdly different things, it's a bunch more work, and it means that most of the people who play the game are never going to see most of the game.
It is something to consider. So usually those games are kept with smaller branches. And because of the nature of games, it can be like in the beginning, do you say hello to your new friend or do you say fuck you? And then at the end of the game, when you're hanging by a rope and your new friend is there to save you because you said fuck you, they're like, no, fuck you, and they let you fall.
Yeah, normally those games they do this thing where they spread out over the course of the game, and then at about a midpoint, they start narrowing back down to one of only a couple choices.
And
which I totally get if you're a game designer, I totally get the impetus to not not have to make 27 different endings for your AAA multi-million-dollar title. Mass Effect 3.
And I was actually just about to say, it's a lot like Mass Effect or Dragon Age, where there's a lot of different paths you can experience, but, ultimately, you end up in the same place.
Because it can't, it would be so much work for so little return.
Mm-hmm. And the nice thing about these games, to play them multiple times, is they usually don't have high action sequences. So it's not like, oh, I gotta play through this zone again. It's just like, to the next part of the story. So I like games like that. I think it's an interesting way, so long as they're not super expensive, I think it's a really interesting way. I like Gone Home, for example, to tell a story. Was the rest of that sentence. Monster Garden's a weird RPG. It's very surreal. I don't know. We'll see. The Caribbean Sail looked really cool. That one is actually one you even have to pay for. How about that? I'm going to actually pull it up. It's got old school style computer game graphics. It's like black and white with a little bit of color. It's about sailing a ship in the 1700s. You get fish and squids and weigh anchor. You get to go to Lisbon. I don't know. It just looks really neat.
It looks like
kind of like
Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail, yeah.
It looks like Oregon Trail or Railroad something. Remember that? Did you play that at all?
The Railroad, no.
It was, I forget its name, but you made a bunch of rail lines and you did. It's very Oregon Trail.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know why that comparison didn't come to me, but yeah, it's Oregon Trail if you're a ship guy.
Its name is literally a pun about the Oregon Trail.
It rhymes, yeah. It's especially why I don't know why I didn't realize that, but it looks really cool. It's half off right now, and then hell if I remember what that other game was. World's Dawn. Of course you're not a free-to-play game. Of course. That would make things too easy. I'll just search it. These guys, Googling. This is Googling on the podcast. I don't know. Maybe this game is going to be one of the listeners' next favorite.
Hey, we're here to provide edutainment.
Yeah. There it is. World's Dawn. Oh, that's cheap right now.
It is
Oh,
very
yeah, that's why it's cheap. It looks like... It says it's a farming simulation game. But
Yeah, this looks like a Harvest Moon game.
yeah, well, it says that, but it seems like it's a lot more about the story and the interactions. And if I want a game to pretend to farm, I have Stardew Valley, which is getting a big update soon with multiplayer. I don't need a game to pretend to farm, but the story side of this looks really
You
interesting.
also have Farming Simulator on the Xbox.
Shut up, man. Let's talk about that for a fucking second. Is this? We're running a little long, but I own the network, so it's all good.
You own YouTube? Where's all my YouTube monies?
Same place with my WWE money.
Fair enough.
You watch what I tell you to watch, and you like it. Although I tell you what, y'all, if they put that title on Rusev, I might be interested. Anyway, so yeah, we got Xbox Game Pass because, like I said, it was a bug, and
Oh, Kreefus. Continue.
okay. Oh, Christmas. Oh, Jesus. So there are all these sports games I downloaded. Because, like, I don't know, I've had this desire to play sports games lately, but, like, Madden and shit just hasn't been fun. We did a podcast about that to go into depth. The basketball game was okay. So I got fucking, what was it?
The most recent golf game that's been made, and that's been 3 years since anyone's made a golf game.
It wasn't very good.
You also got...
The Golf Club, it was called.
Europe Fishing?
European Fishing. This was Kreefus. Or Kreefus. I forget. Whatever.
It was Kreefus.
Kreefus. It told me to name my character. I was just checking out a fishing game. I used to play some black bass fishing on SNES all the time, and I liked it a lot. You could go to the store, you buy stronger lines, buy certain lures, go out and get fish. I wasn't good at it because I was a fucking idiot kid. But, you know, it was a nice way to while away some summer days. I'm playing this, and it's like, cast your line, and I've gone fishing, so I'm trying to do little tricks and shit you do. It's fucking 2018. I mean, well, 2015 maybe when this was made, but whatever. And
Current year, these fishing
current
mechanics
year.
are unacceptable.
Basically. But for some reason, you can fucking walk around the little fishing world.
Watching him play this game, I can't properly convey to you. It was an experience. It's just him, a non-stop stream of consciousness jabber line between like half talking about the mechanics of the game, half in-character observations as Kreefus the slack-jawed yokel. Who somehow got a trip to Spain or whatever to do Europe fishing and just like went down to the fishing hole. He's trying to like walk into the water to commune with the fish.
He had these big old waders on. I figured he could go in the water. Why the fuck else would you have waders on? Do you know how fishing works, Europe?
So at the end, he's at a fishing place where you can set your rod down. You can cast it into the water and then like leave it.
Yeah, like that's basically what the thing was. It wasn't so much, hey, enjoy the act of fishing. It was, make all the money you can fishing. And like, that's not why I'm here, man.
So
I just want to catch fish.
This breaks his spirit. Him spirit broke. So he sets the thing down, turns on the Travis Crabtree song, and slowly walks away, and then turns off the game.
Headcanon, he went and got a farm somewhere in Norway, and he's running my farming simulator farm.
Oh, Kreefus.
But I also, like, there was some other game I tried out, and it was kind of dumb. What's that game where you have the big stick net thing?
What?
Yeah, I played it. I screamed it a lot. I don't remember what it was now.
I got nothing, homie.
It's not rugby.
Oh, lacrosse!
Lacrosse!
Non-licensed NCAA lacrosse simulator.
They had these cool team names, and I'm like, wow, are those real lacrosse teams? And I looked it up, and no, they were cheap knockoff. They were Kmart lacrosse teams.
He played for the Goblins.
Yes, I did.
And he proceeded to go full, like, The Office parkour joke. And he was running across the field screaming, lacrosse! Lacrosse! Is this lacrosse? Lacrosse!
It's a weird pull. I don't think either of us have watched The Office.
I've seen that bit because it's related to a bit from a novel series I read.
Okay, fair enough. But there's a couple other games I grabbed that I intend to check out on Game Pass. The game I've actually been playing the most lately, other than Game Dev Tycoon, is Smite. Here's a little gem you may not have heard of. I'm fully kidding. I've tried to get into it a couple times. I didn't like it on computer. Something about the controls, I just didn't care for it. But I tried it on console, and I was like, this is okay, but I was still really into League then, so I didn't have the time for it. Well, about a month ago, for unrelated reasons, I was looking into Camazotz, bat deity of the Mayan people. And I saw he was a Smite champion, and I was like, alright, I'll check out Smite again. It's been a while. So I've actually been playing it, and it's fun. I play the arena mode, where, like, it's 5v5, kill a bunch of minions, kill a bunch of gods, live your life. I don't have to worry about lanes and creep score and just smack people with my gods.
You don't have to worry about all of the things which make a MOBA somewhat unfun to play.
Yeah. But I can still play the cool characters they've come up with, and I've had a pretty good time with it. I don't play it like a lot, but I'll play a couple of matches every few days or so, and it's been a good experience. Xbox, if you have games with gold, you're getting about $100 value worth of characters and skins and stuff. It's not like exceptional shit, but a bunch of free gods is worth it. So if you've got that right now, I'd grab it. Check out Smite. It's not bad.
I think that covers all the various video games.
Yeah, this has been the Video Games podcast.
It has. It's been fun.
Okay.
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Hey, Travis Crabtree, wait a minute for me. Let's go back in the bottom